Hello everyone, how are you? I hope you're doing really well. My name is Diane and this is Madame Butterfly Tarot, and this is a reading for for Friday the 17th of March. So pile number 1, you guys are the moonstone. Pile number 2, you are the pink rhodochrosite, and pile number 3, you are the red jasper. So I'll just give you a second to choose your pile. Okay, so let's move that out of the way. And that one. Okay, pile number 1, the moonstone. Okay, so you guys have the Chamber of the Violet Flame, Karmic Release, Radical Transformation. Yeah, you have the Death card, which in this deck is called Release, so you're definitely releasing, and you have the Cross, which in that deck is about faith. So pile number 1, and I feel like this is a message that came through for pile number 1 in the daily readings very recently. You are undergoing a massive transformation at the moment. You're releasing a lot of stuff from the past. Okay, this could be stuff from past lives that you've brought through. This could be ancestral stuff, you know, ancestral ideas and like limitations that you have been dealing with. I'm also noticing that my throat is going, so for a lot of you this is you breaking through blocks in your throat chakra as well. Speaking up for yourself. I really like this version of the Death card because you see how he's like unzipping his old self? If I can get it to focus. See, he's unzipping the ego and letting his true self shine, because that's literally what a spiritual awakening is. It's just becoming who you really are. Because, you know, since we get here, like, we take on other people's stuff that's not ours, you know? Like, we pick up stuff in childhood, we pick it up from our parents, we get bullied, we pick it up from brothers and sisters, like, you know, other people project onto us, and we start to feel things like we're not worthy, or our opinion doesn't matter, or, you know, we're not good enough, or whatever it is, you know, poverty mindsets, or whatever it is. You're releasing all of that. I really feel for this pile, you're coming to the end of a long spiritual journey. Like, this is the last hurdle, like the last one. Be very good to yourself at the moment, because you're going through a lot. It's a lot that you're releasing. You know, like, all the spiritual work that you're doing, it might not seem like you're doing much, but you are. So it's physically very tiring, it's emotionally very draining. You might be having like messed up dreams. You might be traveling to the astral plane at nighttime, so you're waking up more tired. You might be finding you're just very, very tired and physically exhausted at the moment. Your emotions might also be all over the place. You might be kind of having flashbacks to things that have happened so that you can release them and let go. So it's all very draining, you know, it's a lot to deal with. So they're just coming through to say, if you've been doubting it, this is what's happening at the moment. Because you might even have been like, what is going on with me? Like, is it a full moon? Is it a new moon? Is there something happening? It's because you're going through a massive karmic shift. It's like the final bit of your spiritual journey. Because the Death card also talks about, you know, the dark night of the soul associated with the spiritual journey. Like, I also feel like you're coming out of your hermit phase, because they tend to happen at the same time. And you're about to step out into the world like this beautiful, light, non-burdened, happy, peaceful light worker. The Cross, talking about faith. Your faith is very strong now. your faith has been tested through your spiritual journey. That's kind of what they do. The reason that they do it is partly to properly awaken your intuition. Because when your intuition is like on point, like awakened, it's very difficult for anyone to BS you. You know, it's difficult for anyone to control you. You know, you have a very strong sense of self. You know exactly what you want. No one can mess with you anymore, you know? And you're also much more able to see through the BS that's going on Earth. You know what I mean? Which is what we need. That's what the planet needs at the moment. So you basically, you know, you've been through like a fast track here. It might not have seemed fast, but, you know, usually this takes people a whole lifetime to get through. So if it's only been a few years for you, that's actually very fast. It doesn't seem fast at the time when you've got no friends and like you're going through all this karmic stuff. But this is the last of it. That's what they want you to know. But yeah, just be nice to yourself at the moment, pile number 1. But that's what I wanted to say. Yeah, like I feel like just after this, your faith is just going to be unshakable. Because you might have recently been through some kind of test of faith. It was almost like your last test, you know? And you passed. So like, because your faith is now unshakable, you're going to have this kind of sereneness to your life. Because, you know, before you get to that point, it's like you kind of trust spirit, but you're like, oh, but I'm still questioning everything. And what if this happens? And what if this happens? Oh my God. But when you get to the point that I think you're at now, you really you're like, well, whatever it is that's happening, I know it's for my own good, and I know it's for the good of the planet, and I'm willing. You know, you've reached a state of acceptance that's going to make you like very peaceful now. Also, that state of acceptance is where you want to be for your manifestations to come in as well. So pile number 1, that was your message. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you found it useful. Remember to be nice to yourself, okay? And I wish you many blessings, love and light as always. Hello, pile number 2. You guys were the pink you are the pink rhodochrosite. So you guys have the Merkaba activation, transcendence, ascension. You are rising up. Amazing card to get. You have the Ace of Cups, and you have the Fortune Teller. Okay. So I feel like I've already said this because I actually had to restart your pile because I got a little bit way into it and realized it hadn't been in focus the whole time, so I've just restarted it because I think that's really annoying when that happens. So you guys may have been attracted to pile number 1 because this is a very similar pile to pile number 1. It's almost like an extension. Also, I feel like the exact same cards, or the same meaning of the cards, came out in the same position, like in pile 1 and pile 2 a few days ago. It's like a repeating message. So pile number 2, you're ascending, okay? So, you know, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. You may well have been attracted to pile number 1. I feel like you've been doing a lot of shadow work. You've been releasing a lot of stuff. When I say ascending, you're not like an ascended master or anything, obviously. Like, you're still going to be on the planet, okay? But your vibration is rising up considerably, okay? You should be very proud of yourself because you've reached a very important stage. The fortune teller talks about insight and intuition. You guys have reached a very peaceful level of like acceptance, neutrality, kind of. It's very high up the vibrational scale, which I'm going to post the Hawkins scale of consciousness again. For anyone that wants to see it today, I'm going to try and remember to do that, but it's very high up the scale. Your intuition, your third eye, and your crown chakra, and your gut instincts, they're going to be on point, okay? They're going to be very, very much more strengthened because your vibration is higher, because you're closer to God, basically, is the best way that I can think of to put it. Because, you know, the higher you get up the vibrational scale, you know, the closer you are to source or God or whatever you want to call it, okay? Like, you're closer to a pure frequency, or as pure as human beings can get, you know? So yeah, you can expect your psychic gifts and your intuition to take a big leap, I would say, okay? So you're going to be stepping into, you're probably sensing it already. I mean, you might be going through a little bit of your transformation still, okay? Like, because you've been doing a lot of releasing, I think, in the last couple of weeks. So you might still be feeling a little off. You might be feeling very tired. But I think you should be starting to come out of that in the next week, or even today. You might be starting to feel better, okay? But remember to get enough sleep, be nice to yourself, okay? Your sleeping patterns might have been disturbed. You might have been very emotional, okay? But you're coming into a place of peace and acceptance because you're not struggling anymore. You know, once you get into this place of peace, you release the need to like know all the answers. You're much more in the present moment. You're much more accepting of Spirit's plan for you, because when you're lower down the scale, you're kind of working out of fear, you know, so you're like clinging on to stuff. And I'm not insulting you, we all do it, you know, I'm talking about myself here as well. It's like we cling on to stuff because we're scared. It's like, but I need this thing, or I need this person, like I need it to happen, like what's going to happen if it doesn't happen? But you guys are moving into a state where you're like, you know what, I am fine just the way I am. I don't need that thing. I don't need that person. I have complete faith in whatever Spirit's plan is for me. I'm willing. Whatever happens, happens. And because you've done that, that's when you're going to get what you want, ironically. It's this terrible irony that, like, once you get into that space where you're almost, it's not that you don't care, it's just that you don't feel like you're gonna, you know, if you don't get that thing or that person, it's not like the be all and end all. It's like, well, I'll be fine either way, you know? If that doesn't happen, then I'll do something else. You know, if this person doesn't come, I'll probably meet someone else, or you know what, I would even be fine by myself. Because you're fine with whatever Spirit's plan is. But ironically, because you've let it all go, like all the clinginess and attachments and stuff, you have a new love coming in. You have the pink rhodochrosite, which is all about manifesting new love, and you have the Ace of Cups here. So it's either someone new that you already know, or it's someone new you're about to meet if you don't have anyone in mind. Like I said, it's because you've made space for them. It's like this, like I keep saying it, I know, but I just think it's such a terrible irony. It's almost like when you get to the point where you don't really care, that's when you get it. It's not, I mean, it's not that you don't care, like I said, but it's, you know, when you're working from a place of like needing, that's when you're pushing things away. And when you get to the point where you're like, be cool if it does, but you know, meh, I'm okay. That's when you get it. So I don't know. it's not really that funny, but yeah. You're also moving closer to, you know, like unconditional love, like for yourself, for your fellow man, you know, because when you get to this place of acceptance, you let go of all the grudges as well. You know, it's because you get to that point where you're like, well, it's not cool what you did or the way that you're speaking to me now or whatever it is, but I understand why you're doing it. Like, it's not about me, it's about you. It's about you feeling threatened by me, or it's about you acting out of fear, or it's about you hating yourself. So you can just kind of detach from things. I mean, it'll still bother you a little bit, but you know, it's not something like it won't bother you to the extent it did before. So, but yeah, you're definitely manifesting a new love here. So that is your message, pile number 1. Well done you. You should be really, really proud of yourself. Like it's amazing. I hope you enjoyed your reading, pile number 2. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I wish you many blessings, love and light. Hello, pile number 3, you guys with the red jasper. So you guys you actually got 2 of these Kyle Gray cards. You have the Sword of Light, which is kind of like the Ace of Swords, Divine Protection, Cords Cut, Breakthrough Energy, and you have Solar Light Upgrade, Solar Plexus Chakra, Inner Fire, Willpower. You have the Sun, which is Shine in this deck, and you have the Spider. So you guys are going through a solar plexus opening. Not just an opening, but like an explosion. So if you want to know more about the solar plexus chakra, you should check out my other channel. It's called How to Train Your Caterpillar. The link is in the description box below. But the solar plexus chakra is associated with self-esteem, self-confidence, self-worth, the inner fire that gives you the motivation to do things that makes your own life better, to push yourself forward, to get up in the morning, you know, on time, to do your exercises, to do the things that are going to make your life better, right? It's also associated, like it says on the card, with willpower. So you may have been someone that struggled with this. You know, maybe you always had a bit of low self-esteem or low self-confidence. When the chakra is blocked, it's very difficult for you to have motivation and like willpower. You know, you're going through it's like exploding open. You're gonna start feeling, if this hasn't happened yet, it's coming in the next few days, is what I want to say. You're going to start feeling a lot more confident. Things are going to become easier because you have the motivation. It's like the motivation to do things for yourself, because you may, I don't know where it's come from, but I don't know, maybe you had a bit of a codependency thing when you were growing up, or a bad relationship or something like that, where you were almost kind of made to feel guilty for putting yourself first, or for like daring to have dreams for yourself, or you know, for like made to feel almost selfish for having motivation to do things for you. You know what I mean? Could have been something like that. You might have brought it through from a past life. Whatever the case, things are going to start feeling easier because you're going to have this motivation that you should always have had. You know, so it's going to feel easier to get up in the morning. It's going to feel easier to clean the house. It's going to feel easier to get your work done, because it's something for you to make your life better. Or maybe not to get your work done, depending on if you work for someone like a shitty employer or something, but like taking the steps to make your own life better. The Spider as well in this deck talks about being persistent and being diligent, and being like single-minded, which is the solar plexus chakra, because you may have always wondered about other people, like, how do they have the motivation? Like, I just don't know how they have like that motivation. You're gonna have it too now, okay? Because it's like maybe before you just didn't have, it sounds rough, but it's like you didn't think you were worthy. So when you have that subconsciously playing in your mind, it's like, well, what's the point in exercising? Like, I don't matter. Doesn't matter if I take care of my body. Doesn't matter if I get up on time. Doesn't matter if I do things that are good for myself. You know, because I don't matter. That's kind of the underlying problem there, basically. So that's what you're pushing through, okay? So things are going to start getting easier now. Pile number 3. I'm also picking up, see with the Sun card, you're going to feel a lot happier. Like a lot happier. You also are going to be getting more used to being in the spotlight. I don't know if that's something like that's been a problem for you. Maybe you lacked the confidence to be in charge or be in the spotlight or get attention or something like that. That's not going to be a problem anymore, okay? So pile number 3, that was your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I wish you many, many blessings, love and light. Take care.